The history of modern boxing usually remembers champions when they already hold the heaviest crowns on the planet, unified at the pinnacle of the heavyweight division. But before the lights of Las Vegas, packed European stadiums, and millions of dollars, there is a critical, almost surgical stage where the mindset of a genius is forged. This is the chronicle of Alexander Usyk's rise in the cruiserweight division, a period marked by a style that was misunderstood at first, but lethal by design. Join me as we analyze 5 fundamental fights in Usyk's early and consolidation stages: Felipe Romero, Epifanio Mendoza, Daniel Brewer, Pedro Rodriguez, and Tabiso Mchunu. 5 names that attempted to decode the indecipherable footwork of a Ukrainian southpaw who, with an Olympic gold medal under his arm, entered the professional ranks not to trade leather, but to put on a masterclass. Without detours or television fluff, we go straight to the canvas to evaluate the technical evolution of the cat. Baptism of Fire, Alexander Usyk versus Felipe Romero. November 9th, 2013, Kyiv, Ukraine. The Palace of Sports is packed to witness the professional debut of the London 2012 Olympic hero. Facing him is a Mexican gatekeeper with a deceptive record, but the classic cunning of the Aztec school, Felipe Romero. For local bettors, Usyk was the prohibitive favorite, but prize fighting demands a biological transition. There are no more headguards, the gloves are smaller, and pain must be managed across the rounds. The fight round by round. From the very first bell, Usyk imposes his southpaw stance. He doesn't look for the quick knockout that the K2 promotional team craved to ignite the cameras. His trainer at the time demands distance. Usyk applies a constant right jab, not very heavy but annoying, that pierces Romero's orthodox guard. In the second round, the Mexican attempts to close the distance with overhand rights, but Usyk's foot speed offers a preview of what the world would see years later. 45-degree pivots that leave Romero punching thin air. By the third round, the accumulated punishment begins to take its toll. Usyk accelerates the transitions. He doesn't advance in a straight line. He draws diagonals. A left hook to the chin sends Romero to the canvas for the first time. The Mexican beats the count purely on survival instinct, resorting to clinching in the 4th round. Usyk remains calm, works the soft areas in the clinch, and rattles Romero's body with uppercuts. In the 5th round, his physical and rhythmic superiority is absolute. Usyk feints with a low jab and unleashes a flawless straight left that lands flush on Romero's face. The referee stops the fight at the 136 mark. The debut is sealed with a technical knockout, but the analysis makes it clear that Usyk boxes with his mind, not with the haste of an average debutante.
Смотрим на повторах, что у нас тут было. Джебом уже прощупал дистанцию. Многие украинцы все об этом знают.
Ну, як добре себе ударити.
Идем в углу.
Спонсор трансляции.
Этому поединку, своему профессиональному дебюту, Александр Усик. Многие задавались вопросом, как же так? Такой ответственный шаг и без спортсмен. Он сам знает, что ему делать. Ну и, в принципе, на это будет носить корректировки по ходу боя. Посмотрим, кто будет.
И прекрасный стратег Александр Усик.
Начал потихоньку подключать левую руку Александр Усик. Он у нас в ортодоксальной стойке. Невысокий. До Усика Василий Ломаченко успешно дебютировал в Америке. Один из самых известных спортсменов Украины. И мы видим, как отреагировал.
Тим часом, що відбувається у ринку, Олександр продовжує смикати весь.
Нельзя сказать, что Александр вкладывается в удары, все видит, вытянет на размен украинца.
Втомленим українець. Так, як на тренуванні дає настанови. От, власне, красномовна така иллюстрация.
Для себя исходное положение и вот точные удары. Эта весовая категория, конечно же, десятки получше. престижнейшим версиям. Шли следы допинга.
Нові бої світові. Ну і ми теж в цьому не сумніваємось.
The test of power. Alexander Usyk versus Epifanio Mendoza, December 14th, 2013. Just 1 month after his debut, Usyk's camp takes a calculated risk by facing a heavy-handed Colombian veteran, Epifanio Diamante. Mendoza, a historical knockout artist with more than 30 stoppage wins. In the training sessions leading up to the fight in Brovary, Usyk focuses on absorbing pressure against the ropes. Mendoza won't back down like Romero. He will look to land a right hand that turns out the prospect's lights. The fight round by round. Mendoza comes out throwing bombs in the first round. Usyk, with his characteristic coldness, raises a high guard and uses minimal lateral movement, just enough so that the Colombian's punches graze the fabric of his gloves. In the second round, the approach changes radically. Usyk decides it's time to punish. He begins to double up on the jab and lands a looping left hook that destabilizes Mendoza's legs, sending him to the canvas. The third round is a lesson in volume. Mendoza tries to make the fight dirty by looking for low blows during clinches, but Usyk responds with pure speed. 4 punch combinations upstairs that finish downstairs. Another straight hook combination sends the Colombian to the floor for a second time. Mendoza gets up visibly depleted. At the start of the fourth round, Usyk gives him no breathing room. He connects with 3 consecutive uppercuts that shatter Mendoza's guard. The referee stops the action at 2:10. Usyk proves that his stylized approach also possesses the necessary payload to break old-school sluggers.
Его не проведешь такой простой комбинированный поражением. Здесь, честно говоря, Мендоса для того, чтобы провести тот самый нокдаун уже во втором раунде мы с вами видели, присесть, отдохнуть. Хотя нет, не... сначала был левый. Понимал, откуда прилетит следующий удар, с какого направления он будет. Тут ничего не скажешь, настоящий пулемет. Чемпион, но все-таки второй поединок на профессиональной арене. Тяжелейший левый бока. Безумно техничный боец. Не тот же самый тренер сейчас. На данном этапе для Эпифанио Мендосы главное, конечно, включается Усик на сей раз за минуту до раунда. Прекрасно понимают. Легко отделался Мендоса, одним словом. Очередной технический будущий чемпион, я об этом уверен. И Усик в ответ. Спасибо за добрые слова.
The first belt. Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Brewer, April 10th, 2014. The arena Lviv Stadium is the stage for Usyk's 5th professional bout. On the line is the interim WBO Intercontinental Cruiserweight title. The opponent is South Africa's Daniel Brewer, a taller boxer with more reach than Usyk's previous foes and a solid reputation on the African continent. The odds still favor the local hero, but critical analysts point to the distance. For the first time, Usyk is scheduled for a 10-round fight. The fight round by round. The first 3 rounds are a dense mathematical study. Brewer uses his length to keep Usyk at bay, throwing a long, heavy jab. Usyk doesn't panic despite sporadic boos from a crowd demanding quick blood. The Ukrainian spends the rounds slipping his torso, timing Brewer's jab, and measuring the distance millimeter by millimeter. It is a live training session in ring generalship. From the 4th and 5th rounds onward, the rhythm changes completely. Usyk activates his foot speed accelerator. He begins darting in and out of Brewer's range with astonishing speed for a cruiserweight. He lands 1-2 combinations and vanishes into the South African's blind spot. Brewer looks frustrated, constantly spinning on his own axis trying to find an opponent who seems like a ghost. In the 6th round, the punishment to Brewer's body becomes systematic. Usyk's left hooks soften the South African's ribs. In the 7th round, with an exhausted Brewer barely able to keep his hands up, Usyk unleashes an unanswered 5-punch combination against the ropes. The referee steps in at 2:55 to declare a technical knockout. Usyk is now a regional champion, proving that long fights only serve him to perfect the demolition. The Cuban School in Play, Alexander Usyk versus Pedro Rodriguez, December 12, 2015. 9 fights undefeated, all won by way of knockout. Usyk defends his Intercontinental crown in Kyiv against the Cuban Pedro El Regulate Rodriguez, a fighter with a record of 22 wins and only 1 defeat, boasting a respectable 90% knockout ratio. The clash promises to be a duel of high technical schools, Ukraine's Olympic precision against the cunning and counterpunching of the Cuban style. At the weigh-in, Rodriguez tries to intimidate by standing rigid, scaling in at 207 pounds, well above Usyk's 200, signaling a clear physical advantage. The fight round by round. Rodriguez opens the fight with the classic Cuban textbook, shoulder feints, lateral steps, and looking to catch Usyk with a counter right hand while fighting on the retreat. Usyk accepts the tactical challenge. He doesn't rush him wildly. Instead, he uses a piercing jab that neutralizes Rodriguez's counterpunching attempts. The first 3 rounds are a delight for technical purists, featuring millimeter-precise blocks and high-level feints from both men. The physical difference in conditioning begin to tilt the scales in the 4th and 5th rounds. Rodriguez's output drops, overwhelmed by Usyk's constant positional pressure. The Ukrainian never stops walking him down, taking away his air. In the 6th round, Usyk finds the gap in the Cuban's guard. A left uppercut pierces clean through the center of his defense, sending Rodriguez down spectacularly. The Cuban survives thanks to the bell. In the 7th round, Usyk comes out determined to close the show. He traps Rodriguez in a neutral corner and unleashes a combined flurry upstairs and downstairs that forces Rodriguez to put a knee on the canvas. Although the Cuban beats referee Yuri Koptsev's count, his eyes are vacant, and his corner requests a stoppage at the 1:57 mark. The Cuban school succumbs to the mathematical precision of the cat.
Співати щирим серцем та всією країною наш чемпіон не підведе. Перемога. Кидайся вперед.
Для Александра все еще идет процесс адаптации к сопернику. В случае, когда провалился оппонент, он не пошел.
Палахує просто такий тут
Насыпал
серію.
темпа. И вот
Цікавий по цьому процесу. Але
максимум Усик максимум проводил и помогал готовиться к этому поединку.
зісковзнула рука трошки нижче пояса, але це не навмисно.
Роскошная атака. Быстро 22 побед 19 раз.
Олександр. Пішиться вже б назвав цей рух фірмовим, який
Настолько плотно держит руки и он ему удает.
Ну і спливає потрошечку п'ятий рає удари кубинець.
Ну, нужно отметить еще и стойкость. Ва-банк идет Родригес, не боясь пропустить удар.
Ну і про під удар
Повышается температура в ринге. Очень классный раунд.
Усика, от удари на повторі.
С каких позиций?
Та Олександром Усиком. Чимсь блок розкрити Родрігеса, Усик і провести свою атаку. І не збирається припиняти цей захоплений процес.
Дает выйти на среднюю дистанцию Александр Усик.
Пробувати завершити цей бій достроково. Важкий.
Одним из самых жестких.
Але
Где он проиграл досрочно в супертяжелом весе. Бусаламов, стоящий на кулпот. И гонг спасает и дает очухаться.
це не та атака.
Родригес. И вот этот. И подключаются снова зрители. Для
Ще
этого
одна
нужно побеждать
серія і
сегодня.
все, і валиться Педро
Более
Родрігес.
терпением ждем повторы, как же это было. Но уже в предыдущем раунде, да, он проявил характер, но Александр Усик все-таки показал, кто есть кто.
Що ж, говорив я про те, що підсідає десь раунду після п'ятого Родрігес.
Было умеренно сложно, то есть выполнять работу, ту, которую говорит.
Consecration on American soil. Alexander Usyk versus Thabiso Michunu, December 17th, 2016. Having captured the absolute WBO World Championship after dethroning Krzysztof Głowacki in Poland, Usyk travels to the United States to make his debut on the prestigious HBO network at the Forum in Inglewood, California. The challenger is South Africa's Thabiso Michunu, a slick short southpaw with a very low center of gravity, nicknamed The Rock for his rock-solid defense. The odds favor the new champion, but experts warn that a duel of southpaw stylists can turn boring if neither takes the initiative. The fight round by round. The first 3 rounds justify the critics' fears. The fight is slow, tactical, and tentative, a chess match where both fighters show too much. Respect. Michunu stands at mid-range, crouched, waiting for Usyk's attack to counter with overhand lefts. The Forum crowd, accustomed to Hollywood action, begins to boo. Usyk, far from losing his composure, uses these rounds to download Michunu's reaction times. Angelo Dundee used to say that great champions win rounds even when it seems they are doing nothing. That is what Usyk is doing, mapping out the terrain. Starting in the 4th round, Usyk decides to break the tactical monologue. He increases the speed of his right jab and begins throwing long combinations that force Michunu out of his defensive shell. In the 6th round, the pressure pays off. Usyk lands a right and left hook combination that causes Mchunu to lose his footing, sending him to the canvas for the first protection count. Mchunu displays immense pride in the 7th and 8th rounds, attempting to counter with short right hands in the infight, but Usyk already has absolute control of the distance. The CompuBox stats begin to skyrocket in favor of the Ukrainian. We reach the 9th round. Usyk activates final demolition mode. He lands a perfect straight left that shakes Mchunu to his core, sending him to the canvas for the second time tonight. The South African bravely gets back up, only to be met by a storm of precise punches. Seconds later, a new 3-punch combination directly to the face sends Mchunu down for the 3rd time. Referee Lou Murray stops the fight at 2:53 of the 9th round. The American debut is consummated with a categorical KO.
He didn't give me a problem in my first fight with him. It's just that I was going to let him use his plus was that he was a counterpuncher just as I was. I was the champion. So why should good fighter now? Very good fighter. And when you find a
Mchunu launching a left hand, unleashed the left hand much at all, and Mchunu has been able to do.
Yes, he has. Right now, he has the lead on Usyk and my.
Usyk was the underdog when he went to Poland this summer. We kick off the new year in the ring on January 28th with a Boxing After Dark. The year faces Mickey Roman. Francisco.
Let him get frustrated. He's got everything to prove. He'll be smart.
Mchunu, who comes from a much smaller town. Sean Smith's life. Smith has been his trainer and manager ever since. CompuBox number.
Doing a good job of leaning back on that back foot, making Usyk reach Roy, and then
it's a really dangerous thing because you never know when he's going to counter. You think you're out of range, and
it's hard for Usyk to take the initiative because when he leads, he's missing and he's out.
More consistently, and Mchunu steps in and fires to the body.
Usyk felt that.
The jab and keep your distance. He's not keeping his distance with his jab. That's a very dangerous thing.
Fighters who seem to fight in a sort of staccato, offbeat rhythm that
plays like that. You never know when he's going to just counter you or when he's going to take the lead on you. And right there
from Mchunu.
Well, that's a cute little right hand that Mchunu throws that may be carrying the throws off a lot of American fighters. And maybe also South Africa.
From South Africa, and he's not that type of a guy. He's a James Toney type, slick.
There's kind of a cross-pollination of styles, or pollination, sorry, of style.
Right here we see Mchunu coming, out in this right hand, just enough of the right hand to cause problems. The right jab a 3rd time. A short right jab on
Mchunu. So far has landed one more punch by CompuBox count. Mchunu.
And it's not even a long jab like Kwawi.
Right. Times and looks like he could turn into a hook whenever he wants.
Round 4 begins.
1 and 2, and Mchunu was the only guy in there fighting. I mean, he was landing good, solid shots. Usyk his left hand in addition to that right jab. 2 rounds to 1 to be so.
The left again here in the 4th round, so Usyk begins to get a little bit freer with his
right jab, and that's not a good thing because there you go, a good shot. Now he's throwing a good left hand.
He is a fighter who thrives off that rhythm of having fun because he's a performer and opponents can kind of put on a show, and Mchunu is not letting him do it.
Well, that's why some real punches. But Mchunu is right on top of everything that he does. And
the art of constant evolution, analyzing the sequence of 5 fights, allows us to understand that Alexander Usyk's current success is neither a fluke nor merely the result of a privileged physique for the heavyweight division. It was in these cruiserweight battles that the Ukrainian perfected the system that today destabilizes the giants of boxing. From the patience shown against gatekeepers like Felipe Romero and Epifanio Mendoza, to mastering long-range control against Daniel Brewer and Pedro Rodriguez, all the way to solving the complex puzzle of a fellow southpaw like Thabiso Mchunu, Usyk proved that boxing is, above all, a scientific discipline of the mind. He learned to manage punishment, ignore crowd pressure, and execute his corner's plans with surgical precision. Those early opponents were not simple stepping stones on his record. They were the laboratories where the undisputed champion of tomorrow was engineered. If you want to know more about the best fighters in the world, subscribe and hit the like button. We will bring you more videos like this week after week.